welcome to the Pontiac Silverdome. It's the 19th annual Prep Kickoff Classic, and what a matchup we have in store for you this afternoon. My name is Bill Hobson alongside Jeff Hager, and Jeff, we get a chance to look at one team that's used to being here and one team that's pretty happy to be here and maybe a little bit nervous about that.
Yeah, the team that's used to being here, Bill, of course, Orchard Lake St. Mary's, coming off a 10-2 season last year, returning perhaps the most important player on the field as far as they're concerned, their quarterback, Jermaine Gonzalez, played last year with his brother in that same backfield. We saw him last year, very talented quarterback in terms of both running and throwing the football. We'll likely see a lot of speed out of him this year. He is a very fast individual, and he'll also play in the defensive secondary. He's one of their key players on defense.
And their head coach, George Port, of course, has this team fired up and looking forward to a good campaign. They had a good year last year with a weird kind of a stumble at the beginning.
Weird kind of stumble at the beginning. They had to forfeit a game against North Farmington because they used a player.
From this event.
Yeah, it was a paperwork snafu of some sort. They reported it immediately, still made the playoffs, got into the quarterfinals, and lost a close game to Trenton.
On the other side of the ball, the North Branch Broncos, coming off of a difficult 1998, at 1-8, they have a quarterback, young man by the name of Ben Mitchell. He's a senior. Last year, as a junior, he threw for over 1,000 yards. And in talking with their head coach, Kevin Walters, before the game, he tells me that their quarterback is certainly the key to today's success.
Well, they play a wide-open offense, don't they? Yeah. Kind of a run-and-shoot that has been familiar to this carpet before.
As he described it to me, we're going to see a little bit of everything today. And that includes no backs, a full house backfield, a single back, run and shoot kind of a look. Basically, he said we're going to throw the kitchen sink at him and hope it hits him a couple of times. And this is Kevin Walters, who's trying to build something with this North Branch program. And I asked him how nervous the guys were coming into the Silverdome, and he said, to be honest with you, they are a little bit. I mean, we practiced on turf to get ready for this, but there's nothing quite like playing here at the Pontiac Silverdome. Let's see how well they do. It's the North Branch Broncos against the Orchard Lake St. Mary's Eaglettes. And it's kickoff just in a couple of moments. And we get set to start things off here momentarily, as this event is such it's grown in stature to such a great extent, Jeff, that now this Kickoff Classic in its 19th year is a favorite for football fans. Even if your school's not here, it's kind of fun to come to the Dome. And we're here a week earlier than usual, so it doesn't bite into your holiday weekend at all. And it is just one of those days where you wish maybe you could peel back the top of the Silverdome and play it under the sun. But not a bad way to go in here on the brand new carpet in a place that I used to refer to as the House of Sanders.
Can't call it that anymore.
Now it's like a museum to Sanders, I think right. Is how it goes.
The situation, obviously, as you mentioned, it's a great thrill for these kids to come in here, especially from North Branch, coming off a 1-8 season. I mean, this is the last place you think you're going to be after a year like that. Even though you come into the year optimistic, you want to come in here and make a good showing, because this might be the only chance you have to play here. And for St. Mary's, I think this is a good incentive for them because they think year in and year out that they should be here at the end of the year. This is good incentive playing here at the beginning of the year as well.
I tell you, they've got one of the biggest kickers you'll ever see as the action is underway. The ball taken back at the 4-yard line by the Broncos. This is number 1, Nick Chesser, and he gets hammered at the 15 and driven back by Hubert Payne. The Broncos go on offense. 1st and 10. We have a St. Mary's roster with several number changes on it at the last moment, so forgive us if we misidentify a couple of names along the way. We certainly hope to get them all corrected for you. The kicker was number 77, who I don't have listed, but he did a fine job. A fine kickoff. Excellent deep to the goal line. North Branch is led to the line of scrimmage by their big center, 6', 340, Kevin Brown. And the quarterback, Ben Mitchell, the senior. Let's get a look at this run-and-shoot offense at the start of the game. Quick swing out to the 12-yard line is caught there by Donnie Hutchison, and he leans forward to the 18.
Quick pickup of about 2, just one of those quick hitter passes, but St. Mary's had it defense pretty well. The cornerback's filling the gap quickly to one of those strange, what do they call those, I think, wide receiver screen passes, basically, because he hopped back behind the line of scrimmage to catch that ball.
Didn't get a lot of support from those blocking out there, so the play went for only 2 yards. Call it 2nd down and 8, just underway here in the 19th Annual Prep Kickoff Classic. And in motion as the handoff goes to the tailback. That's Troy Swish, and he is squished behind the line of scrimmage. A couple of red jerseys on the bottom of that pile, including number 84, Charles Davis, and 21, Kevon Barbie. You get a look at Kevin Walters in the hat there, pacing the sidelines for North Branch. He told me they're going to keep things wide open today and that they hope to catch St. Mary's off guard because this Eagle team has such good speed. You almost need to surprise them instead of trying just to outrun them.
Well, they're quickly into a rough situation here, 3rd and 9 at their own 17. They'd like to get a first down here and get out of the shadow of their own goalposts.
Mitchell back to throw, gets hammered as he sends it downfield. Some contact. The flag does not come out and the pass falls incomplete. Boy, I'll tell you what. Donnie Hutchison got pushed before he had a chance to get to that ball. David McDermott got away with one, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, McDermott on the coverage that time. It happened right in front of the official, so the official from our vantage point, it looked like there was indeed some contact, but the official letting it go early. We'll see what that if that comes into play later.
Time to punt. Hutchison will do the honors, and there are some dangerous kick returners on this St. Mary's team. Anthony Sherrill and Grant Mason stand back to receive the kick. Nice high kick coming down at the midfield area. 46-yard line taken by Mason. Going to reverse his field and find a gap. Look out, 40, 35, 30. Cuts it back to the 25 and falls in near the 20-yard line. Excellent return before Corey Severn brought it to a halt. And just like that, a punt with a net of about 4 yards.
Yeah, 24-yard return for Mason that time on the kick coverage. Decent punt, as you mentioned. Got up there high, but Mason had lots of time to reverse his field and head back to the right.
He does take it back over to the right side, setting up the Eagles now with one of the most dangerous quarterbacks in the state. Jermaine Gonzalez, 6'3", 200-pound senior, hands off to Anthony Sherrill, who falls inside the 15-yard line. And if you want to see a combination, Jeff, as we did last year, you get Jermaine and Jeremy Gonzalez, his older brother, on the field at the same time, and those two are unbelievably fast. Jeremy now at the University of Michigan.
Check that, he's at Eastern.
I'm sorry, at Eastern Michigan. But I mean, right now, he's over at U of M. He's visiting.
Oh, today he just happens to be
just
over.
Today he's having his big festival. 2nd down and short. And Jermaine Gonzalez runs the offense. Handoff right up the middle. First down picked up by Kevon Barbie.
Gets it inside the 10 on that one, Bill. And basically 4 yards on just a simple dive play. And early on, Orchard Lake appears to be the stronger team, certainly at the line of scrimmage.
Maurice Seawright, who runs out of the huddle, comes to the sidelines, and he's replaced in that lineup by Mark Langle, who will split wide to the right side here on 1st and goal. In the early stages, 9:18 still to go in the first quarter. St. Mary's knocking on the door. Gonzalez, handoff Barbie, spins to the 5 and gets just inside of it.
Another pickup of 4 or 5 yards, and that time Barbie driving his legs. They got the initial hit on him at about the 7, but he spun off a tackle and kept driving his legs and picked up an additional 2.5 yards on the play.
Not a lot of spare bodies on that North Branch sideline. You want to make sure the defense doesn't have to stay on the field too long as you see the Barbie spin inside the 5. On this humid day, could be a factor in the first game of the season. Get your conditioning, get your legs underneath. 2nd and goal now.
It's like a running play.
They go option left side, Anthony Sherrill gets the handoff, and he does get into the end zone. Early in the game, St. Mary's gets out to the lead. 8:29 to go.
Quick drive on the punt return, 4 plays, covering 22 yards. And you see the run here coming up by Sherrill. Just a nice job that time of bouncing it to the outside. And the Orchard Lake St. Mary's team is going to be very, very difficult to beat today.
Sherrill actually kind of dragged Garrett Vaughn into the end zone with him. 2-point conversion attempt. As St. Mary's spreads the field wide, the first throw of the game, Gonzalez complete to Mason, and he puts the head down to get in for the 2-point conversion. It's 8-0. When you only have to pick up 1.5 yards, that's going to be a tough play to stop.
Absolutely. They get the 3-yard completion on the deal there, so that gives them 8 points on the game. Orchard Lake St. Mary's with a quick early 8-0 lead. As I mentioned, 4 plays, 22 yards on the drive, and going in from 5 yards out, Sherrill with his first touchdown and the Eagles' first touchdown of 1999.
You look back to the dangers maybe involved with the quick-hitting run-and-shoot offense, and if it's not hitting quickly, you're off the field in a hurry, and your defense has got to be razor sharp. That's one of the reasons that not many NFL teams are able to stick with it for the long haul, because it puts your defense on the field for such a long period of time. We'll have to see if North Branch can kind of get some of the cylinders lined up and get some sharpness to that attack as we continue along.
Yeah, with the run and shoot, you might want to have like a whole another defensive team ready to go when you're out there, because, like you said, your offense doesn't tend to spend a lot of time on the field.
Big fella puts another foot to it as we get down to the 14-yard line. And straight ahead running by Troy Swoosh gets him pounded to the ground just over the 20. Ran into a wave of red jerseys.
Yeah, the impressive thing on both those kickoffs has just been the coverage by St. Mary's. They quickly seem to find who's got the ball, and they just swarm to him. There were 5 or 6 red jerseys all over him. Not a white jersey other than the ball carrier to be found. North Branch here coming to, they obviously weren't afraid to put the ball in the air last time, Bill, throwing 2 passes on their first drive, but they went 3 and out. They're going to need to pick up some first downs and keep their defense, or at least keep St. Mary's offense off the field for now.
Ben Mitchell back up under center, 1 back behind him. Play fake goes to the right, the play goes to the left, and it is a completed pass to Scott Hayes for a first down.
Lost the handle for a moment, but they're going to rule he was down on the play.
Nice misdirection, and it's interesting to be able to follow the effects of a misdirection as you get a look at the replay. Check out how this goes. Watch the red jerseys flow to the right. There they go to the right, and all it takes is a couple of steps, and Hayes is open, back away from the play.
He did a nice job that time, too, getting outside and breaking it outside a little bit and picking up the first down.
Big offensive line for these North Branch Broncos, which will be needed for pass protection and for run blocking as the handoff goes to Derek Schaller. Tries to break free from a defender and cannot. Credit that tackle to number 84, Charles Davis.
Schaller's first carry of the game, picking up 3 on the play. But I think in order for North Branch to be effective, they're going to have to do more of that sort of play action stuff that we just saw with Davis on the previous play. You need to spread the field out.
Slot receiver to the right, 1 receiver left. Back to throw. Look out for the blind side. Mitchell throws it incomplete. He may have heard some footsteps coming as the heat was applied from his backside.
Travis Moore on that one, the defensive end. He came on the blitz, 5'11", 205-pound senior. And there was nobody stepping in front of him. He had young Mr. Mitchell lined up in his sights.
You look at number 1 there, who is Nick Chesser, the split end for North Branch. Goes 5'5", 122. Not a big kid. Although in the previous game, we saw a young man from Bishop Gallagher who weighed in at 98 pounds, who makes Chesser look like a giant. Kids of all size on the field having fun here at the Silverdome in the 19th Annual Prep Kickoff Classic. 3rd down and 7. Going to set up the screen pass. No, instead it's a shovel to Chesser. And he ran into some trouble after catching the ball. Give credit on the stop to 22, James Locasio.
Interesting on that play to watch Charles Davis, number 84, the defensive end. That time he was on the quarterback rush that time, and then saw one of the receivers from the run and shoot kind of split out, or what would have been one of the backs, I guess. And quickly he had to jump out into coverage on him, so he kind of broke off his pass rush and went out into coverage. But
that's pretty good recognition for the first week of the season.
Absolutely.
Because your first thought is get the quarterback.
Absolutely.
And he recognized what may have been a screen and came out after it. Second punt of the day for the Broncos. A pretty good one. Goes over the shoulder of Grant Mason. Has to run backwards to catch it. And brings it back over the 40 to the 43-yard line where Forrest Cote got it. (10-2) season in 1998 for the red-jerseyed Orchard Lake St. Mary Eagles. And that's a team that expects themselves to be back here in November. Am I not right?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I think they were really intending on getting here last year. Ran into a pretty good Trenton team in the Class BB quarterfinals.
Jermaine Gonzalez back to throw. Going to go deep down the sidelines. Wide open is Maurice Seawright, and he is going to waltz it into the end zone for the touchdown. His only challenge was the sideline, and it didn't take long to conquer that. And the long bomb throws 56 yards for the touchdown.
That 57-yard completion that time from Seawright's receiving on the receiving end, and you just can see right here, he just broke off the pattern.
No pressure at all on Jermaine, and
nobody
all
within 5 yards of him.
Just
either.
a matter of walking the sidelines into pay dirt.
That's what you call a quick one-play drive covering 57 yards.
2-point conversion time again. It's 14-0 right now. Handoff. Off the right side to Quinnell Williams, and he did get in. It is 16-0 in favor of St. Mary's.
Yeah, they've run 5 plays so far, Bill, as you see the extra point attempt right there. And you can see it's good, but they've run 5 plays so far and got 2 scores out of it. Just a quick strike offense, much the same we saw from Bishop Gallagher earlier this morning.
And in that situation, it didn't take long before the opposition's heads started to sag a bit, and the hands went on the hips, and you could tell early on that there was a feeling that we might not get back from this. That's the fight that Kevin Walters will be in with his team, to keep their heads up, to realize that at this early stage, it's a 2-touchdown game. They just need to get something clicking on offense, which is not easy to do in your first game of the year. We have, by the way, identified the kicker. It's Josh Burke, number 77, 6'6", 255 kicker. That's something you don't see every day.
Not at all.
See, that stops people from picking on the kickers. Most of the time, they take the brunt of the abuse.
Oh, they're soccer-style kickers, usually soccer players coming up. This guy...
Burke's not taking any abuse, let's put it that way.
Burke would be an awfully big soccer player.
Bouncing kick to Nick Chesser. Stutter steps at the 25 and gets to the 30 before he is brought down by Mark Lengel. With 6:06 to go here in the opening quarter.
St. Mary's touchdowns coming just about 2 minutes and 10 seconds apart here in the first quarter. Just showing again that quick strike capability that they have.
North Branch has a rather unique story involved with one of their assistant coaches we'll share with you after this play. May provide a bit of inspiration they could use on this afternoon as the handoff goes up the middle. Assistant coach Ray Hayes on the North Branch sidelines played on the 1968 New York Jets team alongside Joe Willie Namath.
You mean the same team that was 17-point underdogs to the Baltimore Colts in the Super Bowl that year?
Pulled off the most famous upset in football history. Now this way, if North Branch wins today, I don't think it would qualify quite on that level, but I guarantee you that when Hayes called up Joe Willie, he said, hey, guess what? We did the same thing again today. North Branch trying to make a name for themselves here in this Prep Kickoff Classic. Back to throw goes Mitchell. Being flushed out of the pocket. Is he dumping it off? Yes, indeed, onto the bench of St. Mary's.
That was a smart play there, obviously, by Mitchell, because there was not a whole lot of room to throw the ball. So he wisely just throws it out of bounds. Not afraid to put it up as North Branch already. That's their 5th attempt. Mitchell's 2 of 5 for 14 yards.
And if you don't complete those, it certainly puts you in a hole. Now 3rd down and long. St. Mary's can pin their ears back and get ready to come after it. And basically a whole new offensive unit just checked into the game.
Not a lot of great numbers over on that North Branch bench for as much substituting as they're doing. So
everybody's getting a chance. 2 receivers right, 1 left. Single back, 3rd down and 8. Mitchell back to throw. Hit as he throws it. Will it get over the defense? It will not. Picked off by Mark Lengel. Mitchell got pummeled as he let go of the ball, and it just floated up in that thick Silver Dome air.
Well, I think he had Nick Chesser open and had him lined up, but as you said, the pressure that time coming in from number 8, Steve Malone, from his linebacker position, I mean, that was just too great, and he hits him just as he lets the ball go. He's got him open, but the ball ends up a little bit underthrown, and stepping right in front of it, Lengel to make the pick, and now Orchard Lake St. Mary's will have the ball for the 3rd time, and barely half the first quarter is gone.
Chesser has shown us some speed, and he used it to get open, but the ball did not lead him So the turnover gives it back to St. Mary's. Mark Lengel's interception. It's 1st and 10 at the 38. Gonzalez handoff to Hubert Payne.
Payne's first action of the game, and I'll tell you what, he almost lost that ball that time.
That's what
Somebody
I thought.
got a hand in there, and it looked like the ball nearly squirted out. That would have been a big break for North Branch.
Yeah, Scott Hayes, 44, made the stop and almost made the strip. Inside of 5 minutes remaining here in the first quarter.
That's what they need, though. I think at this point, North Branch needs a quick turnover. They need something to happen.
So keep an eye on this ball if we get a chance to. Hard to see because of the big fellas blocking us.
Yeah, Hayes definitely got a hand in there, and it looked like it almost squirted loose.
Now on the second down play, Gonzalez option right side is going to keep it and pitch it way downfield. Nice job of being patient with the ball. He gives it to Sherrill, who picks up the first down. You don't see many option pitches take place 6 yards past the line of scrimmage.
Absolutely. I mean, that's where Jermaine Gonzalez, becomes so dangerous because he's got the ability to just pitch that ball quickly. I mean, he pitched it there near the 45, and you can see they get another 13 yards out of it.
That's a quarterback with awareness of where he is on the field.
And Sherrill does a nice job to get it up the field and get it out into North Branch territory.
That first down moves it into North Branch territory, as you said. 16-0. St. Mary's leads it. Gonzalez rolling left. Are they looking for a screen? Flags
They got a
fly.
hold coming back here.
I think this play's about over. Jermaine, save your legs. There's going to be some holding. Look at this kid run.
Oh, he might get in.
Look at this kid run.
There's another
Two
flag.
flags. It's like a Chinese laundry out there. Wow.
I think for sure we're going to have one hold here.
We've got 2 holds, a violation, and interstate commerce on that run. That replay may take longer than the first half. Good stuff from Gonzalez, but it's not going to count.
I think that started out as a passing play.
I think so, too. I think it started out as a busted play,
and
maybe
I'm
a
wondering if this
screen.
first flag might have been ineligible receiver downfield. As it turned out to be a running play, then it wouldn't be an eligible receiver downfield.
Well, let's take a look. Flags everywhere. There's a hold against
defense
the defense
and
a clip on the offense. They will replay that down. That's a lot of running for nothing. Defensive holding may have affected the pass play. Let's take a look. It looks to me like they're setting up for a screen, and somebody got a hold.
Somebody got pulled down.
And now here we go off to the races with Gonzalez. I
I
couldn't
think this
catch
is where you'll
this
see
kid.
the clip coming up right. Well,
No, I know
like
where
a
it
good
is.
block.
The clip comes up.
Yeah, there it is.
Yep. It's pretty blatant. And there's another one at the end. So having said all that, we'll do it again. First down and 10. Play never happened. That's a lot of play to never happen. Yeah, I get the feeling Jermaine Gonzalez never gets tired. He looks like one of those kids who can just run all day.
He's got great size to it, 6'3", 200. You got to think he's going to be playing quarterback somewhere at the next level next year.
Oh, this handoff goes nowhere. Cornell Williams stacked up, driven back for a loss. Broncos get a little excited over that stop. Ben Rode led the charge.
Now, what turned out to be a busted play, they would have had the ball inside the 30-yard line. Now they're finding themselves at 2nd and long. But we've already seen the ability of Mr. Gonzalez to throw the football. Let's see what they pull up out of their sleeve right here.
Well,
2nd and 14.
the challenge for North Branch here is the single coverage on the corners because they send Grant Mason wide to the right here. And if he remains one-on-one, Gonzalez has shown he can throw it downfield. Second down, straight back to throw. Over the middle, they go to the tight end, incomplete. That's Charles Davis, the intended receiver. Not the best ball Charles will ever see thrown his way, as Gonzalez never set himself for that one.
They kind of rushed that throw a little bit. Davis was open. At 6'5" and 200, I don't know that North Branch has anybody in their defensive backfield or among their linebacking core that can stay with him in terms of size.
There's some guys back there very thankful that pass was incomplete. They didn't want to run into the big tight end.
I mean, he's a tight end at 6'5" and 250. The biggest, tallest player that North Branch has is 6'3", and he's a defensive lineman.
Well, here we go. 3rd down and long with 3:23 in the opening quarter. Big opportunity for a North Branch defensive stop. Gonzalez straight back. Lets it go. I think the routes may have been crossed up a little bit because both receivers ran a short post and he threw a deep post. 4th down now and long.
2 incomplete passes there for Jermaine Gonzalez. He's now 2 of 4 on the day for 60 yards. And we're going to probably see our first punt of the day, I would guess, from the Eagles.
Something tells me that when both receivers downfield ended up in the same spot, somebody read the read the route incorrectly.
Jermaine looked like he wanted to go up the middle the whole time, and as you said, Bill, it appeared that both of the receivers broke it off on a crossing pattern.
Jason Spencer, number 22, back at the 10-yard line for North Branch to take this kick.
McDermott doing the punting.
I see fair catch is being signaled for by two players, and it is indeed Spencer that makes the catch. He had Chester calling it for him.
He was calling it, and Chester was calling it. They were saying, hey, I don't think we want to return this one.
Fair catch by committee.
You know, the key to the fair catch, too, is not only signaling for it, but then coming down with the ball once you made the signal.
It's a big part of it.
You got to catch that ball once you made the catch, or otherwise it's a live ball. And just standing there, you don't have much of a chance against the on-rushing defenders.
Well, North Branch stopped the bleeding, so to speak. Got a defensive stop. They trail it by 2 touchdowns. Back on offense at the 18-yard line.
You can believe this or not, this is already the 6th change of possession we've had here in the first quarter. Still 3:09 to go.
Been a long first quarter. First down give on a handoff the right side. Boy, I tell you, North Branch has some big fellas on that line. Check out some of these numbers. They've got Joe Smith at 5'8", 232. They've got Rob Turner at 6'2", 241. Brandon Weatherwax, 6'2", 280. And my favorite, Kevin Brown, 6 foot, 340. There's some beef up front there to do some moving around if the running game gets established. Meanwhile, we have a timeout called by North Branch with 2:41 on the clock.
One of those early season timeouts. Coaching staff wants to get them over there. Kevin Walters wants to talk things over a bit and say, guys, we need to get a couple of first downs here and move this football.
Well, the college footballs are flying in the air. The professional footballs are a couple weeks away. It's a great time of year here at the end of August. We're starting earlier than usual because of the extended playoff process in high school land. We're usually doing this Labor Day weekend. So here we are a week ahead of time. As you want to put the playoffs in a nutshell?
Well, basically, what has happened is the Michigan High School Athletic Association has elected to expand the playoffs one additional week, which means an additional 128 teams will be able to be part of the process. That will encompass now, instead of the top seeds hosting 2 games, they could potentially host 3 games in the first round. And teams with 6-3 records or better are automatically guaranteed a spot in the postseason. So it rewards teams that have good records, obviously. There will be some 5-4 teams in. They're trying to limit the chances, though, the teams under 500, as they have in the past, a few anyway, of getting into the playoffs and keeping teams that are 9-0, 8-1, have great seasons from missing the playoffs as well.
So that's why we're here at the end of August instead of the beginning of September. It is second down and long. Mitchell way deep drop to throw, and finding a spot is Scott Hayes. He snuck into a soft part of the defense right in front of his own bench. Caught the ball for the first down. Good off-balance throw by Mitchell, who was on the run.
Hey, you know what Mitchell didn't do that time was he did not panic when the rush was heavy. I mean, he didn't panic. He waited for
He dropped
Davis
back a good 15 yards.
Yeah, and he waited for Davis to get open, and that's the key. I mean, when you or rather Hayes, I mean, you waited for him to get open. And, on a play like that, you have to let your back clear the lower echelon of the defense, the defensive line, and get a spot open in the field. And he waited for it and found it.
I tell you what, that pass better be accurate, or there's a defender waiting to walk it into the end zone. And it was accurate. First down. Pitch out this time. Comes to Troy Swosh. Tries to string it out around the sidelines, but there's some good St. Mary's speed in pursuit. He only gets about a yard on the play, if that.
Yeah, the running game for North Branch today has had its troubles. And as you said, a lot of it has to do with the speed of St. Mary's. They are just doing some great running up and down the line of scrimmage in terms of pursuit. And we saw an example of it there. 3 or 4 guys just coming right up the line of scrimmage, stretching the play toward the sideline, and there was nowhere at all for Mr. Swish to go.
Interesting defensive alignment for St. Mary's as they bring one of their smaller players up to the line of scrimmage at nose tackle. Nick Locasio lined up right over the big 340-pound center.
They basically have 9 guys in the box.
That deep drop again by Mitchell. Now he's going to be in trouble. Better get rid of that ball, buddy, and he does. Incomplete. Thrown over the head of Chris Jacobson. That play took forever to develop, and then it collapsed just like that.
I do like I do like the patience of Mitchell, though, because as you mentioned, there were two guys breathing right down his neck, and he strung it out and got to a position where he threw pretty much an uncatchable ball, although that could have been a dangerous pass had it been underthrown. But he threw basically, from what I could see, threw the ball away, hoping that his receiver, if possible, could jump up and get it. But, I mean, that looked like a throwaway pass.
Well, you don't want to throw it away too much if you're a passing offense, and they are now setting up 3rd down and 10. One receiver split each side. Nick Chesser at the bottom of your screen. Little draw play goes right up the middle. Maybe a yard, if that, for Troy Swosh, and that is it. The draw does not fool anybody, and it's time to bring in the punt unit.
After picking up a first down on that drive, they're out quickly on the second set of 3 plays.
Swosh gets up holding his hand a little gingerly, perhaps took a helmet on it. Hard to tell in a pile like that. You could take a whole lot of things on your hand.
Oh, St. Mary's just doing a good job of getting the initial hit on, and then everybody swarming to the play. Another example of that right there.
Inside 1 minute to go here in the opening quarter. And it's time for the punt. Jason Spencer gets off a nice one, angles it over away from the intended receiver, Grant Mason, picks it up on a bounce. Mason gets away from the first wave of defenders, cuts it up over the 40, a nice return before he is driven to the sidelines. Oh, I'm not sure he ever got out of bounds.
He didn't get out of bounds at first.
Wow.
If he hadn't stepped back with his left foot on that one, he wouldn't have stepped out of bounds and could have kept going. I think North Branch thought they had him bottled up, and a couple of players gave up on the play. If you watch
Check out the very end here. There were 2 or 3 times I thought this play was over.
See, they kind of gave up on it, thinking they had him out of bounds, and then I think he just snuck back with his left foot and caught the sideline. The official was right on top of it.
Nice energetic return by Mason as we have just 36 ticks on the opening quarter clock. Kind of a slow-moving first quarter. 16-0 in favor of St. Mary's. Clock slow-moving, I should say. The pace of the game has been pretty quick. A few incomplete passes, though, have dragged it out as the pitch comes to Anthony Sherrill. Anthony tries to get around the corner, does, and gets close to the first down.
Yeah, got about an 8 on that play, Bill, but just a quick toss that time from the quarterback Gonzalez out to Sherrill on the left halfback side. And just started outrunning the defenders until he could get to the side. Already 4 carries for 34 yards for Anthony Sherrill. Just picking up where Jeremy Gonzalez left off last year. Another fine running back.
They know how to reload it at St. Mary's. That is for certain. 2nd down and 2. Straight back to throw. Gonzalez flares it out to his back. That's Barbee, who is hammered over the 30, but not until well after he picks up the first down. Kevon Barbee. And the field was so spread out that time that it was virtually impossible for North Branch to double team anybody. And with it that spread out, watch the execution, perfect pass, and Barbee does the rest.
Well, Barbee did exactly what he's supposed to do there. Seal off the defensive end momentarily, get a block on him so that Gonzalez could roll out, and then just spin off, and you should have some wide open field in front of you, and he did.
20 seconds on the first quarter clock. Gonzalez hands it off.
Well, look out.
A lot of room to run right now for Quinnell Williams. Quinnell to the corner. Quinnell to the end zone. Just speed around the corner. Wow. Quinnell Williams from 29 yards out took a rather average-looking play and turned it into 6. And check out the way he gets to the corner so quickly. I don't think any Bronco thought he could beat him to the sidelines. And he turns on the Jets right about there, and it's all over.
I thought he was going to administer the stiff arm to Jason Spencer there, but he kind of gave him a juke move and got right around him.
He would have had to slow down and wait for Spencer to get there to deliver the stiff arm. He was that fast. Now the first time they go for a single-point kick conversion, and it's good, as everything seems to be coming up roses for the St. Mary's Eaglettes. It's 23-0.
Well, I talk about just the quick strike capability of this team. We already mentioned it. They've had one drive where they went one play, 57 yards, covers 10 seconds. This drive here, 3 plays, 57 yards, 26 seconds, Bill, off the clock.
Wow. And the touchdown run, I'll tell you what, when you get a kid that fast and some good blocking at the line of scrimmage, there's not a lot of chance for a linebacker to catch him. And by that time, the cornerbacks are wondering, what's he doing back here? And it's all over.
It certainly was on that play. And quickly, we're off to a 23-0 start here for the Eaglets. And, they're just picking up right where they left off last year. In this game, they opened the season with a 42-0 win over North Farmington. And then that's the game they had to give back because of a situation involving one of their players not being properly registered. Evidently a paperwork snafu. It was reported by George Port the following Monday, and they offered up a forfeit of the game so that there would be no further complications involved with that.
I certainly hope that big Josh Burke, number 77, properly stretched before the contest, because that kicking leg is going to get a serious workout as George Port continues pacing the sidelines. His team leads it 23-0. The squibber comes down to Chesser. Picks it up at about the 18 and cuts outside to the 30. Good return, sets up decent field position. And to this point, at least, I don't know if it's fair to refer to it as a gimmick offense. It's really not. But the run and shoot, deceptive, oriented offense of North Branch has not crossed midfield.
No, and they need to sustain something here, just for their own sense of what they've been working for the last 15 days to get down here. I mean, they'd like to sustain something and get the ball moving, at least toward St. Mary's goal line.
Well, plus these gentlemen on the offensive side, several of them play on the defensive side, and they have let's put it this way, it's easier to play offense than it is to play defense, energy-wise.
Already the 9th possession of the game. We haven't even left the first quarter yet.
5 ticks left. This will be the last play of the first quarter. Mitchell to throw.
Going for it all.
He's throwing deep.
He's got him.
Oh, the pass was deflected at the last second. It looked to me like maybe Grant Mason got a hand on it. And again, for the second or third time, Chesser had a good 4-yard advantage over the defense, but the ball just did not get to him. Take a look at the gap that Chesser has established. Good protection as Mitchell goes back. He just winds up and lets her fly. That's like the old front yard, backyard. You go deep play. He just didn't have enough gas underneath it.
And Chesser got out a little bit further than I think Mitchell was capable of throwing that ball, and he had to slow down and wait for it, and that enabled the St. Mary's defense. I mean, if Mitchell gets that ball out there another 5 yards, it was 6 points for North Branch.
That was a long throw and incomplete pass. So now 2nd down and 10. And to this point, North Branch has picked up, I believe, 2 first downs.
That's what I unofficially have here. That's correct, Bill. And on offense, 8 yards rushing so far for the Broncos, 25 yards through the air, so 33 total yards. And as we look down the St. Mary's statistics, unofficially I have them for a total of 77 yards rushing and 80 yards passing, so 157 yards in the first quarter for St. Mary's. You can understand why they have a 23-0 lead.
As the team switched directions, you can see those big fellows in the line of scrimmage for North Branch. Pass protection has been solid. Pass efficiency has been a little lacking. 2nd down and 10. Play fake. Sidearm sling pass out to the side. It's going to be picked off. No, it's dropped by Grant Mason, who will have visions of the Lions end zone in his dreams tonight because it was on his fingertips. Pass intended for Forrest Cote, 6'2", 220-pound senior. This kid, you see him in your picture right now, bench presses over 400 pounds, has a 4.0 GPA, and according to his head coach, has visions and hopes of attending West Point Academy or a military academy. Smart kid, strong kid, big kid, but another pass that was very close to being intercepted.
As you said, just off the fingertips of Mason, putting the pressure on that time again, Charles Davis in the backfield, and just chasing after Mitchell, forcing him to throw the ball, not necessarily even looking for the sack, but just forcing him to throw the ball, I think, before he wanted to.
Mitchell's got that sidearm delivery. As the handoff comes up the middle on 3rd down and 10, they give it to Derek Schaller. Schaller gets about 4 or 5, but it's 4th down again, and at this point of the field, I don't think there's much doubt that you've got to kick it away.
That's North Branch's most productive run of the day, by the way, 4 yards on the play, on the carry.
Not a bad idea, except it's 3rd and 10. On 1st down, you'll take 4 yards every time. Now Grant Mason gets back there. Boy, this kid's been exciting to watch return punts today.
Well, you suspect, too, because he thought he might have a touchdown looming with that interception. Let's see what he does here with this punt return.
I get the feeling he's not done. Well, he may not get a chance on this one unless he takes a friendly hop. It does. It does to him. Somehow he shakes off a tackler. Flag down way back at the line of scrimmage. Perhaps a Bronco left early.
Looks like we're going to have a legal procedure against them, but I doubt that.
I don't know. They might make
George Ford might let him kick it over.
Depends on if he wants to give Grant a chance to stretch his legs a little bit.
Either way,
it's hard to argue with.
Right now, the field position's at the 43-yard line.
So. Hard to argue with that. Procedure is indeed the call, but they will refuse it. Take over right where you see it on the 43.
I think in terms of special teams, it's one of those situations where we're going to see how it unfolds throughout the course of the season. And you know, they already look like a pretty good special teams in terms of kick coverage. We've seen them on kickoff coverage do a fine job already. And Mason, I believe, broke off a 24-yard punt return already and another 15-yarder. So their punt ability to return punts isn't in question here. I think Coach George Ford wants to see this offense in action a little bit more.
First down pass. They swing it out left side to David McDermott. McDermott gets around the end, and he steps on the sidelines, and he just barely caught a piece of that white paint, or we would have been looking at another touchdown.
Starting from their own 43, that pass goes for...
Check out the spin move around the corner. He thought about the stiff arm again on Spencer, but didn't need to use it and just couldn't stay in bounds.
Pass goes for 21 yards. Here's the numbers on Gonzalez, already 4 of 6 for 101 yards and 1 touchdown. McDermott's first catch of the day. Spreading the ball nicely. That's what you got to like up on Gonzalez. He's already thrown the ball to 4 different receivers.
37-yard line. He's going to throw it again. Right side he goes to Grant Mason. Cut back inside. Ball's loose, and Mason somehow gets it back. That's the kind of day North Branch is having. A good poke away by the defender. It sat there on the rug for about a second, and Mason falls right on it. How often does a football stay right where you drop it?
Not very often.
No, never. Check out the poke away here at the end of the run after the catch. Right there. Nice job getting a hand in by Donnie Hutchison. And as the day has gone, the ball stays with St. Mary's. 2nd and 3.
Get it inside the 30 now as well. It gives so many options to an explosive offense like this when you're 2nd and 3.
Pitch out. A little room to run now for Quinnell Williams. Quinnell's going to take it in. He stops, thinks about some contact, gets a little contact, but still manages to plunge it in from 30 yards out. 10 minutes exactly to go here in the second quarter. And the second touchdown, his first one was from 29 yards. This one from 30 for Quinnell Williams.
Well, this drive took less than 2 minutes again, Bill. As you can see, Williams.
I'm surprised he slowed down. He had all kinds of... it looked like he wanted a little contact because he didn't get touched on the play.
I think when he first ran out there, he was surprised at how much room he actually had. I mean, the whole left side of the field, the whole near side of the field was just wide open for him.
This extra point to make it 30-0. It does.
St. Mary's doesn't waste any time kicking the ball even. I mean... Ball's up, snapped, and in between the uprights before you even know it.
You will have a long search to find a more efficient team than St. Mary's. And check out this run one more time. As the speed kills for the umpteenth time today, it's simply a pitch out around the end. Probably
great block. Did you see that block?
Yeah. Receivers know how to block. It's not a play necessarily intended to score. But when you can turn on the jets like that, sometimes you find unexpected benefits.
Well, you know, the funny thing is, in talking with some of the staff of St. Mary's before the game, we were given the names of some of the players. We've already seen Sherrill and Williams, 2 guys that we didn't have their names prior to the game in terms of key guys on offense. They've already contributed in big ways. And Williams has 2 touchdowns already and has carried the ball 4 times for 58 yards.
A reminder that should the score ever get to a 35-point or greater differential, that our clock here will go on running time. It will not stop except for an injury, timeout, or a touchdown, or a score, I should say. So 35 points means running clock, and it's 30-0 with 10 minutes still to go in the first half.
This is the 5th kickoff return right now for North Branch in the game.
35-yard line looks to be where they will set up. I think that's Troy Swosh on the return.
Now this is the fifth. Is it fifth or sixth time they've received the ball on kickoff? Oh, there was one punt. That's right. So the fifth time they've received the ball on kickoff, and the 11th possession so far in the first half, and we've played a little over 14 minutes of football.
I think you could accurately label this as a dominating performance by St. Mary's.
That's what I was trying to point out is the fact that guys they didn't even tell us about prior to the game, or go into great detail about, are out here contributing. That's just the tremendous athletes that they have year in and year out that come to this school.
That's a good point, because you talk to the coaches before the game and you ask them for some of their key contributors and that kind of thing. And like you said, I never heard the name Quinnell Williams in the
nobody
pregame.
said his name.
And he's got 2 touchdowns, and he's been a big factor. First down play for North Branch is a handoff that does not go far. So they'll be faced with second and long.
As for North Branch, they've actually come out offensively and not played too badly, I don't think. It's just been a question of they haven't been able to sustain anything. With only a couple of first downs, and they haven't even got one sustained drive, really. And as you mentioned earlier, they haven't gotten over midfield. And teams that don't do that usually have a very difficult time in terms of, obviously they don't score. But, in terms of just what that does to you mentally on the football field, when you can't move the football against the other team.
When first downs start to become moral victories, you're having a rough day.
Absolutely.
And it may become kind of that point. Although I will point this out. Before we started, I went down to the field to talk with North Branch coach Kevin Walters, and he said that he knew how good Orchard Lake St. Mary's is.
Well, didn't he
how
call
fast
Jermaine Gonzalez the best high school quarterback he'd ever seen?
Yeah, he said this kid has so many weapons. And the mindset is we're going to have to come in and get them early, and if we don't, we're going to have to do our best, but we know that this is a great team. And that's kind of how it's played out to this point. Hey, regardless of the outcome of this contest, what a great memento to take home and to keep for years to come. You can always show the kids and the cousins and the nephews, I played at the Pontiac Silverdome, where a guy named Barry Sanders used to run. Still breaks my heart. You see the address on the screen. You did to pick up your tapes of this contest from the Catholic Television Network of Detroit. And now here we go with a swinging gate formation on second down and 10. This is old school at its finest, but the key is a good snap. Mitchell comes back to get it, and he threw it away. Oh, that play was doomed from the minute of the snap, and here goes Maurice Seawright to the house. Oh, that one hurts, because you would like to think that you're going to shock St. Mary's into panicking on defense, and then the snap gets over the head, and it's all downhill from there.
37-yard interception return for Maurice Seawright, his second touchdown of the day. Just, as you said, kind of a gimmick play.
This was a gift right here. The good catch. He got up high for it, but after that, it was a waltz to the end zone.
Again, it was not a bad play in terms of Mitchell rolling out. It's just once he had to throw the ball, St. Mary's is so athletic and can close so quickly on the receivers, and that's exactly what they did.
Extra point is low, almost blocked, and no good. One of the few things that St. Mary's has not had go their way. Nonetheless, our score is 36-0. The running clock begins at one of the earliest points I can recall. We have 9:04 to go in the first half. The Seawright interception return for the score. They've pretty much done it in every fashion except for a special team score, and there's a lot of football left to be played. And I feel bad for the North Branch side. I will tell you why. These kids were so energized to get here. They were invited to play in this, and I'm sure they still are glad they were. It's a great measuring stick to see where your program is. But it's disheartening to get here and have a first half like this.
A couple of interceptions so far for Mitchell. He's had his problems, and you make mistakes against Orchard Lake St. Mary's. I don't care what team you are; they're going to make you pay for it.
You are correct, sir. 9:04 to go in this half. After this kickoff takes place, the clock will continue to run.
Saw another quarterback warming up on the sidelines. We'll have to get his number 10 is not in our program. So we'll see if he comes in to run the offense the next time St. Mary's has the football. He seems to be gripping the football and trying to get a hold on it. So trying to find out who that is between now and the next time they get the football is.
Meanwhile, Josh Burke puts another foot to it. That leg is going to get some work today as it's
Seems to
bobbled
be
and
kicking
then
him deeper
controlled.
with each successive one, though.
Troy Schwosh takes it, finds a seam over the 25 to the 30. Right on the X marks the spot.
You can't say North Branch hasn't had the ball here in the first half. They just haven't had it very long, that's all. And frankly, Orchard Lake St. Mary's hasn't had it very long either. They've just managed to keep punching it in the end zone.
Several changes of possession, most of them after touchdowns by St. Mary's. 36 to nothing is where we stand. Not a whole lot for George Port to be fretting about at this point. Although I'm sure he'll think of something at halftime.
Absolutely.
First down and 10. Here we go from the 30-yard line. Mitchell gives on the handoff to Derek Schaller. Falls forward for perhaps a yard.
4 carries, 10 yards for Schaller so far. But no matter really what it boils down to, no matter what North Branch is throwing at him, whether it be the run or the pass, St. Mary's has had an answer for him virtually every time.
Well, I liked the formation they came with last time. At least it showed that they haven't abandoned their creativity.
Absolutely.
You know,
love to see imagination.
Don't go away from your game plan just because you're necessarily down. You still got, this is the first game of the season. You still got to work out some kinks and get your timing down for stuff that will help you later on. Second down now at 9.
Had a play like that worked, we'd be calling the coach a genius.
Right, out pattern.
Look out, he's got a little room.
Nice move to the outside by Donnie Hutchison, and he crosses over the 45 for the first down.
Big 18-yard gain that time.
And a good spin after the catch to move the chains.
Mitchell, I mean, like I said, has shown the ability to throw the ball fairly well. He's been under a lot of pressure today. That time he wasn't. And Hutchinson, as you pointed out, made a great move that time on what was essentially about a 6 or 7 yard pass and turned it into an 18-yard gain.
Mitchell with a little bit of a sidearm delivery. Loses a little bit of steam on the ball. But was right on the money with that particular effort. First down and 10.
First catch for Hutchinson today.
Time to throw again. Under pressure, flushed out of the pocket. Can he get away from the linebacker? Not looking good. Oh, he puts the head down and goes strong into A.J. Mikas. He goes down strong, and he gets up a little bit slowly. Mitchell with a brave play.
May not want to but he's walking back to the huddle.
He may not want to do that too many times. Mikas laid a good lick at him.
Give him a lot of credit, though, because he realized he was running out of options in terms of what he should do. And this time he just lays his shoulder down. He gave Mikas a little bit of a hurt.
I was going to say, maybe I had that backwards. He may have given Mikas a pretty good lick. 6:38 and running here in the first half.
Mitchell's 4 of 10 through the year with 42 yards and a pair of interceptions he's thrown.
This time 2 receivers right, 1 left. Right from midfield. Back to throw. Mitchell swings it into trouble, and it's caught amidst 3 red jerseys. Defense applied by Matt Tassoni. Catch made by Chris Jacobson.
Nice job by Jacobson to stand in there that time. He was under a great deal of pressure. They had to let him at least catch the football. But there were 3 red jerseys around him, and he stood his ground and held on for a nice 9-yard gain on the play.
Mitchell not afraid to throw into some coverage, perhaps gaining some confidence with a couple of completions. Because that was a dangerous pass.
You know, the one thing I'm impressed with is, as far as North Branch is concerned, is all the different offensive formations. That's not easy to learn, just to get into the formations and know where you're supposed to go.
Third down and short. Handoff. First down picked up and a little bit more. Nice job by Troy Schwosh. Gets across the 40 inside to the 37.
And for the first time today, we're seeing the Broncos get into Orchard Lake St. Mary's territory.
And we're seeing the Broncos fans get into the game a little bit. As they have been shell-shocked to some extent, 36-0. And a good drive being put together by the home team.
It's Schwoish's best run of the day. He's now up to 9 yards.
Interesting defensive substitution. The defensive line for St. Mary's just got really, really light and quick. They gave up about 40 pounds a man with the substitutions. Deep ball again, thrown into double coverage and picked off again. What a drive killer. That ball was, it looked almost to be intended for number 10. And St. Mary's, number we don't have, but the possession they do.
Yeah, not a good idea that time by Mitchell to throw that ball. I mean, he was thrown into double coverage to a receiver who's 5'5", and that was just an ill-advised throw, probably the worst throw he's made today in terms of. I mean, in terms of, it's a nice-looking pass. It's just he's got two guys in front and one guy behind on the play.
Nick Chesser would have been a hero to be able to knock that ball down. Another turnover, third interception, I think, as we are inside of 5 minutes and should be rolling as soon as the snap takes place. And we now have a new quarterback. Boy, Jermaine Gonzalez's day ended perhaps quite early.
36-0 lead.
Handoff goes right up the gut. Still going up the gut to number 24, Nick Nemi. We'll get a number and a name on the quarterback for you as soon as we can. There were 6 different number changes given to us just before kickoff for St. Mary's. And rather than misidentifying somebody, we'll make sure we get it right for you.
It was Lacasio on the carry. His first appearance in the game, 5'9", 165-pound senior. Nice gain of 6 yards on the play.
Second down and 6. May see the ball stay on the ground quite a bit here in the remainder of the first half.
What a surge, though.
Yeah, inside of 4 minutes and 15 seconds. This is the time for the offensive linemen to shine as they help each other up a little bit.
Well, Brian Patton that time getting out in front of the center, Justin Rester, both of them just getting right out in front of the play and opening up a big hole for the running back that time.
Well,
Payne picking up the carry that time. He gets 6 on the play.
If there was any amount of wind still in the sails of North Branch, that interception removed a lot of it because they had a pretty effective drive put together with a chance to get on the board and still came up empty. Broken play this time as the quarterback takes a couple of big licks, one from down low and one from up top. Rob Turner had him down below.
Turner taking advantage of what might be one of his futures on the day. He got over and whooped up the North Branch crowd a little bit as he made a good job getting in the backfield on what you said is a busted play from the beginning.
Check out Scott Hayes coming in here, 44, bang. Oh, my, that's huge.
You know, that was a situation, though, that I think that the running back was supposed to go left, or at least that's what the quarterback thought, and he went right, and suddenly he found himself in no man's land with no place to go.
I think there may have been a little bit of Scott Hayes frustration built up into that poppy late on number 10. Second down at 16. Handoff up the middle. Spin move by Anthony Sherrill. Gets back to about the 47. And we now have the correct name of our quarterback. Thank you very much. That is Dan Clothier, wearing number 10 in your program. He's listed at number 12, but we've got it all together now. He is a 6'5" senior with a shoulder pad hanging out of his jersey.
Looking tough for the cameras.
Under 2.5 to go in this opening half.
You have to drop down into your NFL Films voice now to describe that with the shoulder pad hanging out.
The mighty soldier of clothing.
Of course, there's no mud here at the Silverdome. So
yeah, see, it takes away a lot of the John Facenda potential.
Another broken play that time, but Clothier, give him credit because he busted that up for about 6-7 yards. I think he was intending to do the first time around.
Hey, if you're Clothier and some of the other guys on offense, you're thinking to yourself, I can't believe it's the first half and I'm on the field. You know, this isn't going to happen every week.
No, not at all.
They want to take full advantage of it. And probably in a lot of situations here on 4th and 3, they may even go for it. But here, instead, they will punt it away on 4th down. David McDermott to do the kicking. Back to receive for North Branch, Donnie Hutchison, along with Jason Spencer. Angle it for the corner.
Pretty good punt.
Kick is taken at the 15 and run to the sidelines near the 30-yard line. Decent return, to say the very least.
Real good return. That was the young man Hutchinson over there that did a nice job of just kept driving his legs and busting tackles as he came up the left sideline.
Minute 19 now to go in the half. You see how Hutcherson made a little something out of what didn't look like much of anything.
I thought he was down it right there.
Big stiff arm he laid
busted
down.
4 tackles before they finally could bring him down.
Locascio got the rough end of a stiff arm.
Well, North Branch touching the ball now for what will be the 8th time, make that 9th time in the game, as they are looking at right now a 1st and 10 from their 29-yard line.
Well, the clock will run no matter what happens unless they use timeouts. Let's see if Kevin Walters has plans for scoring or just getting into the locker room and talking things over as they hand it off on first down. That may be part of the answer, but it did come loose, and it's picked up by Orchard Lake St. Mary's. When it rains, it pours on a sunny day in the dome. Derek Scheller.
Yeah, he looked like he was trying to pick up that extra yard that time, and he's spinning a little bit. Oh, they got a hand up in there, and the ball comes loose.
We have a player down at the 50-yard line on the sideline area for North Branch. I don't have a number, but flat on his back being tended to by the training crew. We certainly hope that it's maybe just a heat cramp thing. First game on a muggy day.
It's a bit humid in here. There's no doubt about that.
We'll not speculate on anything else, but they are tending to that player as St. Mary's goes back on offense. One play after giving it back. Handoff goes to Anthony Sherrill. Nice pickup on first down.
Taking right over again at the 30-yard line is Orchard Lake. Their second best field position of the day. They also got the ball on the very first drive at the North Branch 22.
4 turnovers, I do believe.
You're correct.
Is the tally at this point. Inside of 45 ticks left on the first half clock.
Pickup of 7 on that play.
George Port kneels in to watch his offense go to work. Handoff to Sherrill. Gets the first down.
Sherrill's 7th carry. He's up to 50 yards now.
And that may very well be the last play of the first half. I don't see anybody in a huge hurry. And in fact, as Clothier runs over to his coach to get the play, he may not run back.
Well, he's going to get back, but there's no way they'll get this play off. And I think that's kind of what George Port's saying is just head back out there. But
I don't think they're looking at the clock, to be honest with you, because it's over.
George, the coach knew all along. He was already headed back toward the tunnel. So,
well, that's the way the first half ends. It is powerful if you're for Orchard Lake St. Mary's, 36-0. North Branch still looking to get on the board. They'll try to regroup at halftime, and we will be back with the second half from the Pontiac Silverdome. It's the 19th Annual Prep Kickoff Classic. We're back after this.
Education is one of the most important gifts that we can give to our children. It must start early. Catholic schools provide good teachers who care about your children. Catholic schools encourage smaller classes and individual attention. A Catholic school education will teach students good Christian values that they will carry with them for a lifetime. For more information, call your parish school or the Catholic Schools office at 313-237-4676.
Welcome back to the Pontiac Silverdome, where it is halftime is just about completed, the third quarter about to get underway, and for the North Branch Broncos, they can only hope for better news than they had in the first half. In fact, what I did here on my program is I wrote down all the highlights for St. Mary's here, and then I wrote down all the highlights for North Branch here. It's a little bit barren.
And North Branch had a tough first half. There's no doubt about it. The team speed of St. Mary's is great. Fantastic team speed. And as we mentioned early on in the second quarter, they're putting guys in the game that they didn't even tell us about, in the first half that would be key performers. They're being key performers in the game, most notably Williams with 2 touchdown runs. And also Sherrill got into the game early on and really did a fine job rushing the football. St. Mary's piled up 157 yards total offense in the first quarter alone, putting 23 points on the board, and then added 13 more in the second half.
Well, along with the noticeable difference in the team speed, there's been a turnover factor now. All of that plays together. 4 turnovers by North Branch makes it kind of difficult because they've given up some pretty valuable real estate out there with some 3 interceptions and then a costly fumble right near the end of the half.
Yeah, there have been actually 15 possessions so far in this game. And
that's remarkable.
Yeah, Orchard Lake St. Mary's has twice had the ball inside the North Branch 30, 35-yard line. So when you do that consistently, you're going to give up points. There's just no way around it.
Well, as Jeff mentioned, Quinnell Williams, one of the big stars of this first half of the contest, a couple of touchdown runs. I think we're going to take a look at him shortly. A 30-yarder, a 29-yarder, and this kid flat out knows how to run. There's one on the screen right now. He kind of slowed up.
They flat out know how to block for him. I mean,
yeah, they do. That's true.
They cleared him a couple of great holes that time. And as you said, he kind of slowed up and lowered his shoulder into the defender, maybe just looking for some contact of some sort.
Because he didn't get it earlier in the run, that's for sure.
Did.
Well, I feel kind of bad for Kevin Walters. He was a fabulous guy to talk to before the game, and he did tell me that they expected to be in for a pretty good struggle today. He knew how good St. Mary's is. The problem is, in convincing your team they have a shot to win, you got to come out cleanly with a good start, and that did not happen.
Yeah, and you're looking at a team that last year was 1-8 on the season, and a situation in which coming back this year, they're playing a team that went 10-2 last year and did, now look at this kickoff lineup here, Bill. This is an interesting one, and they've thrown. The one thing about North Branch we can say about them is
they've
creative. Been exciting to watch today.
They are creative. I think they took that formation from the marching band that performed just moments ago. And we also saw in the first game of the day an onside kick to start the second half. We did not see that just now, as the boot by Jason Spencer is taken by Maurice Seawright. Maurice cuts back at the 30, and he turned on the Jets. Another move outside, and he may take it. Let's see what kind of a foot race. What a return by Maurice Seawright to start the second half. I can't believe that resulted in a touchdown. He must have taken 25 seconds from the first moment he touched the ball until the play is blown dead with a remarkable kickoff return.
Well, it seemed like 25 seconds. It was 17 nevertheless.
Wow.
And considering where he got the ball, somewhere in the neighborhood of 85 yards, we'll try and get an exact read on that as to where exactly he brought that back from. But just a fabulous kickoff return.
Wow. Well, we'll take another look at it after the extra point attempt. Maurice Seawright with one of the great run-back highlights you'll see this year, regardless of opening day or not. That was pretty much, after the first 10 yards, all Maurice. Wow.
It makes it 42-0.
They changed, his was one of the number changes we were given before the contest. He may earn his old number back. I don't know what happened, but with that kind of a run, he could pretty much name his number. Flags fly on the extra point.
Now, Jason Spencer that time started, I think, right after the touchdown run, rushing the extra point, because he was back there quickly and blocked the point after. But they'll move it in a half a yard now, or a yard and a half to the 1, and we'll see what happens. I would imagine they'll still kick this one from the 10.
The last 2 touchdowns for St. Mary's have been scored by Maurice Seawright. He ran back an interception return to make it 36-0.
And if you remember correctly, too, he was on the receiving end of a 57-yard touchdown pass in the first quarter. So he has been one of their offensive stars today as well. 3 touchdowns for Maurice Seawright.
Yeah, that makes it 43-0. And wait till you see this kick.
Hazlitt, and then Hazlitt came in here and got annihilated by Menominee.
Yes, they
in the
did.
Silverdome in the Class B final.
42-6. Here we go back to the action now after the timeout. First down at 10. Kind of a busted play as it's given to James Locasio. And he's driven back a bit by number 68 of North Branch, Rob Turner.
Loss of about 3 on that play, and that is one of the few times today that we've seen the Orchard Lake offense bogged down, as it appeared that time. As you said, kind of a broken play. Looked like the blocking assignments were mixed up, and that's bound to happen in a situation in which you've got players in here that aren't necessarily getting the reps on offense that they normally do, certainly with the first string, and a situation in which you've got some of these guys that are on the practice squads and trying to show the offensive players what the other teams do defensively. They don't get a lot of chances to see how the blocking schemes are supposed to go.
That play is going to be blown dead, even though it looks quite adventurous. The entire left side of the Eagle line jumped well before the snap. Actually, the flags were late. The line was early. So even though that was rolling around back at midfield, it will be blown dead. Kind of an ugly start there. A little bit of timing problem. As Jeff mentioned, so many new bodies coming in.
Well, especially with a quarterback, too. You get a different cadence, and you start jumping to what a certain guy's cadence is, and then a new guy comes in, and he says things a little bit differently. He says a couple of huts and maybe drags his voice a little bit. Next thing you know, you're jumping off sides. But as you said there, the whole left side of the line looked like they had the same idea.
And it was the wrong idea. Second down and long now. Officially, we'll call it second at 17. Handoff goes up the middle. And this is Kevon Barbie.
A lot of running between the tackles, as we've seen here from the Eaglets.
Well, part of it is the sportsmanship aspect. They don't have to do that. But like you mentioned, we're not going to see that ball in the air. Barring maybe a third down and a mile like this, you may, and I wouldn't blame them for doing it here. I don't think the North Branch sideline would either. It's third down at 17. You want to play solid, sound, fundamental football. But for the most part, you're getting some people experience that don't always get it, and you'll lose a little bit of that sharpness. Third down and long, they pitch it out. This one goes to Sherrill, and he stood up just beyond the line of scrimmage and driven back. Garrett Vaughn leads the charge in the white jerseys for that tackle.
A bit of a moral victory here for North Branch. I mean, they fought hard on that drive and got a little help from a penalty, marching the Eaglets back 5 yards on the play, but they've done a good job defensively here to try to stack things up. They're moving back into punt formation, but I got to believe right now I don't see the punter in there for Orchard Lake. I don't think they're going to kick the ball.
You are correct, and we may see a timeout burned here. At that point of the field where they're just going to go ahead and go for it.
They're going to throw the ball this time.
Let Nemi have a chance to air it out a little bit. He will air it out, but it's caught well short of the first down. Actually, about a 6 or 7 yard completion. They needed 17. So North Branch holds them. It will take over on offense inside of 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. It's 43-0 in favor of St. Mary's. Will North Branch get on the board? The starters come back out with hands on hips, hoping to get something started as their quarterback Ben Mitchell runs into your picture.
And you have to wonder, the day is probably over for not only Connell Williams, but Maurice Seawright. We haven't seen Jermaine Gonzalez since midway through the second quarter. And a number of those young men are sitting down over on the bench here on the near side of the field, getting a breather today, enjoying the humidity of the Silverdome.
It is indeed a little sticky. Mitchell going to roll to his right. Now he's going to get drilled as he throws it over top of his intended receiver, Scott Hayes. Scott took a pretty good lick for not catching the ball. Matt Allray gave him a pop.
I'll tell you, it took a lick was Ben Mitchell that time. He got up as slow as we've seen him get up today. That time, really intense pressure.
Yeah, take a look at what Mitchell's faced with. So he just got rid of the ball as it sails incomplete.
That wasn't Matt Allray on the coverage or on the sack that time, but boy, oh boy, they just keep coming, and we're looking at a number of guys in here, second stringers in here for St. Mary's right now.
One receiver split to the top. Kind of an I formation look. How often do you see this? Mitchell rolls right, going to keep it on the option. Picks up a couple before being driven into the turf. A.J. Mikas there. Also got some help from number 68, Brian Patton.
Interesting, though, when I mentioned some of the guys that were having a seat and got their helmets off, and that to see Jermaine Gonzalez on the sideline right now, you'd think he was going back in. He's got his helmet on.
Yep.
He's got. It gives you the appearance that he's ready to go back in. Interesting. I guess that's the kind of leadership you want from your quarterback, though. A senior quarterback, a guy who was a starter last year as well. You want him up there, with the other guys, showing them what it's all about to be out on the field.
He's got the best seat in the house. Hard to blame him. Mitchell back to throw. Sidearms one to the 40-yard line. Bobbled and
Caught.
Was it one hand caught by Chesser? It was. Ball thrown behind him a little bit. And somehow Chesser comes up with a grab. It's still going to be 4th and about 5 or 6 yards to go, but a nice reception.
I'll give Chesser an awful lot of credit because he stands in there at 5'5", 122. He's easily the smallest guy in the field. But he stands in there, and he's not afraid to take a pop from guys much bigger than he is.
That's an excellent catch as he was lambasted by Matt Tassoni.
Tassoni's got 50 pounds and about 5 inches on him.
At the last minute, North Branch decides to go ahead and kick it away. Will be the last play of this third quarter with 5 ticks on the clock. And they're going to have to run a fake because the pressure was huge coming into the face of Jason Spencer. He had He had no receiver. Expecting a pass, but had he not tried to throw it, he would have been smothered. So it just continues to kind of storm on the North Branch sidelines.
How about that for a football name? Number 57 is Brian Kill.
The old former...
No, there used to be a guy in Michigan State that used to say, "Kill, Bubba, kill."
Well, the former football coach at Saginaw Valley State was Jerry Kill up until this year. In the one game, he took on a head coach whose name was Dye. It was very interesting, kind of a maudlin matchup, so to speak. Well, we get set for the fourth quarter. The North Branch...
Tell me people were just dying to see that game, huh?
The North Branch cheerleaders trying to infuse a little bit of enthusiasm into that far sideline. It's been a tough gig today to be a cheerleader for North Branch as they trail at 43-0.
As you mentioned, though, at the top, just a great opportunity, a fun opportunity for these kids. At some point they're going to realize, and I think their coach will realize that, they got a chance to play in the Silverdome carpet against a great football team. But nevertheless, they got to come down here and have some fun, something they won't otherwise do throughout the course of the regular season. In the next 4 years, 5 years at North Branch.
And it's important not to let today spoil your season. Because it shouldn't. It's just one game.
Absolutely.
First down and 10. Quarterback is Nemi. Handoff goes up the middle.
Payne again, the ball carrier. He's got 4 carries for 16 yards.
Hubert Payne, 5'9", 175 junior.
Although that Jermaine Gonzalez has nailed down any college plans for the near future, but the trouble with games like this is if Orchard Lake is involved in games like this, his numbers don't look particularly great because he only threw 7 passes today for 109 yards.
Option play right side. Does he get outside? Yes, he does. That is
go.
James Locascio to the 15 twice, steps inside and just grabs a piece of sideline. Looked like Rob Turner may have provided the force to get him out of bounds.
Locascio with a 20-yard pickup on that one.
But you were right, Jeff. He's one step away from waltzing into the end zone. Pitch out comes at the last minute as he gets outside of Donnie Hutchison. He just couldn't keep it in bounds.
I don't know if he would have gotten in all the way, but certainly made a good run at it.
Clock continues to move even though he went out of bounds because the gap is larger than 35 points. We're inside of 11 minutes in the contest. This handoff goes up the middle. Payne again on the carry.
Now looking ahead for St. Mary's, I know they're, as you mentioned, their schedule gets considerably tougher as they start playing Catholic League games coming up, and it'll be interesting to see if they can match what they did last year and then get into the playoffs now with a 5-week playoff as opposed to 4.
I'd like to have a seat on the 50 for that Country Day contest. Second down now. Play goes right side. Flag flies as Nemi is taken down by a swarm of white jerseys.
You see a motion call here?
Yes, indeed.
Somebody moving when they shouldn't have been moving.
Now, if you're at home saying to yourself, Ethel, get in here. The carpet at the Silverdome looks a lot greener than ever before. You're right. It's brand new rug they brought in this year. Kind of a softer, less what's the word they used? Grabby's not the word they used, but that's the one I'm going with. It's a little more forgiving turf, a little more of a grass field to it, as they have a brand new turf here at the stadium. I was told by one of the Lions representatives that they got this turf with Barry Sanders in mind. That worked out well.
Plan B.
What they meant was Ron Rivers. Second down and long, but that is what they said, just to save him for a few more years. Another flag on the play. It's going to be a touchdown for James Locascio. However, I think he got around the end because of some jersey grabbing by one of his linemen.
Yep, indeed, you're right.
That corner got sealed off a little more cleanly than it probably should have, and that's because of a hold.
If you watch it on that particular play again, I think you're going to see it. It's going to be right in front, man. It gets pulled down.
It was there.
You saw the bodies tumbling down there as we went by, and I think that's where it was.
They didn't just trip on the new carpet. And this drive in particular has taken a reverse turn all the way back to the 27-yard line. St. Mary's faced with 2nd and 13.
See if they throw it.
2nd and 22, excuse me.
Yeah, see if they throw the ball. They did last time.
One receiver to the far top side. Option play right. Pitch out Locascio. He's going to run out of real estate in a hurry. Good defensive pursuit. Couple of Broncos in on that one. Derek Schaller along with Donnie Hutchison strung it out very effectively. Did not bite on the quarterback on the option. And made the stop for another loss.
Hey, I mean, you could give North Branch a lot of credit today because they could very easily have thrown in the towel on this, and they're still playing hard, especially on defense. I mean, they're really trying to give St. Mary's a lot of trouble, and for a team that gained 157 yards in the first half, in the first quarter alone, and 244 in the first half, they've had their struggles here in the third and fourth, although they've been primarily keeping the ball, as we said, between downs.
Should I be at all concerned? It's getting really dark here in the Silverdome.
What was that movie, Independence Day?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. They are going to pass on third down, nearly intercepted. Pass thrown behind the receiver. Derek Schaller from North Branch almost got a hold of it. Now it'll be 4th and long.
There wasn't an eclipse scheduled today that I know of, is there?
Nope.
Now 4th, and basically they got to get inside the 4 or inside the 5 at least. So 4th and about 24.
And they will indeed go for it. Nemi, the quarterback. 7:20 and rolling here to go in the 4th quarter of this contest, the 19th annual Prep Kickoff Classic. Bill Hobson here along with Jeff Hager, taking you through this game, which has been all St. Mary's. Pitch out on 4th and long. Pitch out may result in a first down. No. Good pursuit. Excellent closure by Nick Chesser. If he doesn't get in the way, that's a touchdown.
And again, Chesser doing a great job that time, standing up Hubert Payne, giving up 50 pounds to him, but doing a fine job of standing him up, waiting for his defensive pursuit to get there and making the play.
I've been really impressed with Nick Chesser today. He's been the intended receiver on all of the interceptions except for one, and that's not necessarily his fault. But this kid has stuck his nose into trouble throughout the afternoon, and he comes right after at that time to make the stop.
Did what you're supposed to do, square it up, hit low, and slowed him up. And maybe knew he couldn't bring him down entirely by himself, but did a good job of, like I said, slowing him down, waiting for the defensive pursuit to get there.
Yeah, Garrett Vaughn provided that pursuit. And now 6:20 to play in the contest. Perhaps one or two last opportunities to get on the scoreboard for North Branch.
They're spreading the field again, more of a kind of slot back formation. They're going to go back to pass.
Play action. Mitchell goes to his left. Looking for big number 88 as a flag comes downfield. It's picked off. Picked off again. This time It's Grant Mason. However,
I'm wondering if we're going to have a defensive holding.
There is a yellow marker at the 33-yard line, and chances are it will still be North Branch ball. We'll see what the big fellas in the jerseys tell us, and they tell us it's defensive holding.
So wipe out the interception and give them a 15-yard gain on the play in terms of the penalty.
And another ball by Mitchell.
Good play fake once again by Mitchell.
He just airmailed it. Yeah. I mean, that ball was 15 yards past his
well, it depends on who his intended receiver was. It might have been Chesser, and Chesser was behind the play.
If his receiver was held, then you are right. Either way, it's a first down. They maintain possession. The clock will restart right now at 5:50, and the drive is still alive.
Again, they'll spread the field a little bit. Hutchison coming to the near side. Watch something going his way. He seemed effective a couple times they've gotten him the ball today. They got it to him one time for 17 yards.
Quick out pattern, all right through the hands of Donnie Hutchison. Mitchell has not always been right on target, but he was there. That one should have been caught.
At 6'1", 173, Hutchinson having the advantage over Sherrill that time, and I think that was one of those situations where he was thinking about what he was going to do after he caught the ball.
Well, you know, it's interesting because earlier he did catch a pass, that same pattern, and quickly spun it outside for a first down, and you never know. That the moves could be going through the mind a little bit early. Now we are at 5 minutes remaining in the contest.
In my brief and yet unproductive football career, though, that was always the first rule is catch the ball first, then make your move.
So you're not in any Hall of Fame that I could go visit?
Did you say shame?
2nd and 10. Little misdirection. They shovel it inside. This one goes to
again.
Hutchison.
Oh, boy.
And he just flat out dropped the ball. Nobody touched it.
I don't think he ever got it. I don't think he ever secured it when the pitch came to him. As you'll see the shovel pass come through, I don't think he ever secured that ball. And,
well, it's a little slow getting up now because it's inevitable. There's 4 minutes left, and for North Branch, they could back the bus in and get out of here because they are really struggling at this point. Not touched. He did have the ball.
He had the ball.
He just dropped it. Just flat out dropped it, and there's nothing more you can say. He'll be as chagrined by that as anybody. And right now he's patting his own chest and he says, "My fault." Yep, it is.
The man who leads the name game, Brian Kill, on the recovery.
And now, pretty good field position for this unit of the St. Mary's Eagles.
At least if they don't strike quick here, this could very well run out virtually the entire game.
This has seemingly been two different contests. First half we saw the main unit. Now we're seeing the support unit on the field for St. Mary's. Pounding it inside the 15 is Hubert Payne.
Well, the Eaglets scored 3 of the first 4 times they touched the ball and got on the board 23-0. I mean, by the end of the first quarter, there were already 8 possessions in the game. So this game has certainly slowed down significantly in terms of the ball turning over and such. But of course, a lot of that has to do with the Eaglets, who are now basically running the ball almost exclusively.
6 turnovers on the board for North Branch. Will certainly be a focus for improvement in the coming week. Misdirected play. I don't know if it's going the right way, but Hubert Payne might make it into something special.
We're going to come back again.
Hubert's trying for the end zone. He does get there, but it will not stand. Back at the 14-yard line, there's a little yellow hanky.
I think we saw a clip that time. But you can't argue with the effort. That's for sure. It was 100% effort.
I think it was a busted play that he just turned into something special.
Oh, there's no doubt it was a busted play, and he got back. But a lot of times that's when you'll see a penalty. That's when you'll see a penalty called, because all of a sudden now the play's coming back and a blocker finds himself out of position, and he's trying to make a great block and just can't do it. And that's where it is right there. Number 10 came in, and he actually tried to let up on it, but it was enough of a shove.
In a tight game, George Port would blow a gasket on that because it really was not anything spectacular or dirty.
Well, that block from behind, though, even if it's just enough of a shove, it might warrant the referee to make a call on that, and he did.
They restart the clock now after moving the ball all the way back to the 30. 2nd and 22. Handoff goes to number 22.
Uh-oh.
James Locascio almost broke free. Hits her back near the original line of scrimmage.
He could have gotten from 0 to 60 right there. I think he would have busted it in. He just had a little trouble with the stutter step getting out of there. But
those flaps up, too, on the right shoulder. That does not help the aerodynamics.
That's right. They always say flaps should be down, right?
Mm-hmm.
He got a good gain out of that, though, considering they were back out over the 20.
Well, in this Prep Classic, we're just about halfway through it, and we have seen some dominating performances. The first game Jeff and I watched, Harper Woods, Bishop Gallagher, very impressive. St. Mary's today, totally dominating, with 90 seconds now remaining in the contest.
There's a fumble.
And maybe
first
the first turnover
the other way. Yeah.
Certainly is. Let's see who got that recovery. That is number 62, Justin McLeod. And Justin's excited about picking up that loose ball.
He's in the stat book for the day.
Absolutely right. Gives his team a chance to get back after it. And just a mishandled snap for the most part by Nemi. Never had it, went through his legs, and Justin jumped right on top. The first time today, the bounce has not come into the hands of a red jersey.
Now we're going to see a timeout here by North Branch. See what Coach Kevin Walters has up his sleeve here.
And as we mentioned earlier, it's just a great time to be at the Pontiac Silverdome, one of those lifelong memories, and why not get yourself a copy of it to show to generations to come. You see the address, CTND 305 Michigan Avenue, Detroit 48226, or you can call them for more information, 313-237-5938. Catholic High School League videotape, what a great keepsake.
Boy, we've seen some, as you mentioned, the two games that we've seen today, Bill, some great plays and some great players. In the first game, we saw Marcus Curry, who's already committed to going to the University of Michigan. A couple of great touchdown receptions he had in this game here. Maurice Seawright, a great size at 6'3", 185. He's a senior. You have to figure that there are going to be some college scouts watching him if they haven't been already. I'm sure they have. Jermaine Gonzalez, we talked about him already. A young man that certainly looks like he has a future at the next level. David McDermott's a good player. Sherrell has run well. We've seen Quinnell Williams. He's only a junior, 6 foot 212, good size already, and still got time to put some more size on before next season.
Back to the action. Mitchell going to roll to his left. Difficult way to throw for a righty. Sets up, throws
Got
over
a
the
man
middle.
open.
And that pass is deflected. Great coverage and closure by Anthony Sherrell. I'm not sure Anthony was ever supposed to be a part of that part of the zone, but boy, he covered some real estate and knocked it away.
Well, Mitchell has had his struggles off and on again today, but the last two balls that he's thrown should have been caught. And that one there, I think Jacobson just figured he was so wide open, he didn't go after the ball perhaps like he should have, and he allowed the defensive closure to come in and make the play. Now look at this snap. We've seen this formation one other time today already.
This time the snap high, but it's pulled down by Mitchell. Oh, he pump fakes two defenders away from him, now throws back across his body, and the pass is not caught. Not a bad throw at all, but Chris Jacobson unable to grab it.
And that'll probably be the final play of the game. Well, they're going to call one final timeout here.
Hey, you know what?
It's Hail Mary time.
Give it to them. I don't have a problem with that. Here's a team that, for all intents and purposes, has every right to want to get on that bus and get the heck home, and they're not done yet. More power to them and more power to Kevin Walters. Is anything going to come of it? Yeah, probably not.
86-yarder. Who knows what we'll see, though, because of what we've seen today. We could see the hook and trailer. We could see who knows what. We haven't seen the Statue of Liberty play yet.
But for anybody tempted, perhaps, to roll their eyes at this timeout, I say let them have it. Let them enjoy it. You got one last play on the Silverdome rug. You might as well get the most out of it you can.
Like I said, they haven't had the best of days out here, but North Branch has not been boring. I can tell you that much. They brought an exciting offense, and I would not be surprised to see them later in the season maybe upend somebody that is a heavy favorite over them, just because these kids, it looks like they're getting some good football training here in terms of, Mitchell's just got some things he's got to work on, and the receiver's got to catch some balls in that, but they're not that bad an outfit.
They may try a double pass. No, instead, Mitchell's going to swing it over on the left side to Derek Schaller.
I was making sure the band wasn't on the field.
Where's the Stanford band? There's no band in the field, but there is a party with the red jerseys because they have rocked and rolled their way to a 43-0 whitewashing of the North Branch Broncos. Orchard Lake St. Mary's picks up where this program always seems to leave off, strong in the season opener.
43-0 this year, 42-0 last year. Of course, that game, as we told you at the top, wiped out by the forfeit for using a player that had not been properly registered with the school. And St. Mary's offered that up as a forfeit. Still went to the playoffs last year before losing to Trenton in the Class BB quarterfinals. Some stats from today's game unofficially. As we mentioned, their fine quarterback Jermaine Gonzalez, 5 of 7, passing 109 yards, all in the first 16, 17 minutes of the game. First quarter and a half or so. One touchdown pass, that a 57-yarder to Maurice Seawright. He was your scoring leader on the day, getting in the end zone 3 times on 3 different varieties. We told you about the 57-yard touchdown reception. He also returned an interception for 37 yards and opened the second half with one of the best kickoff returns I've ever seen, an 82-yarder that put the final points on the board for the Eaglets as they win at 43-0. Also a couple of touchdown runs for Quinnell Williams of 29 and 30 yards. He ends up with 58 yards on the day. Their leading rusher was Anthony Sherrill as he was over 60 yards.
Well, the North Branch Broncos leave the field, regrouping for the rest of their season as Orchard Lake St. Mary's meets in the end zone to talk about this one and get ready for next week. Thanks for joining us from the Pontiac Silverdome. To our crew, special thanks, and for Jeff Hager, I'm Bill Hobson saying so long from the Pontiac Silverdome.